You ready? Hi, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Making Light to Humans Being. I'm Julie Heert, and with me, and our main topic for today is Kate Foggo. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Julie. It's a bit of a workaround that neither of us particularly like to be the focus of attention, do we?
We're learning how to deal with that. So, and I said this is a special edition featuring you as the topic because you are Danielle McKinnon's featured practitioner for the entire month of October. So we thought we could share this with all of our wonderful viewers in an effort to, one, make them aware of it, but two, to let them know a little bit more about what you do, because you're not just a soul level animal communicator, and to also make them aware of a wonderfully special and fabulous offer that you are doing this whole entire month. So that's what we thought we would do with you guys today. This may not be a full episode, doesn't matter. We're just going to talk all about Kate. So, and Kate's like,
What's that expectation rebellion?
Right. All right. So, Kate, what fabulousness do you offer this world right now? Everything. Tell us everything you do.
Right now, Julie, I am one half of an amazing duo called Making Light to Humans Being. I don't know if you've never heard of them. You want to go over there, you want to subscribe and hit that button because they're just pretty amazing. I am one of Danielle's, that's Danielle McKinnon, soul level animal communicator, so certified through Danielle, as is Julie. We are both, that's how we met. We're both soul level animal communicators with Danielle. We are also both certified soul level intuitive coaches, so most of our followers, I think, are at least familiar with animal communication. So briefly, the intuitive coaching is really about digging up negative beliefs and helping people move forward in their lives. So we touch on it in Making Light. Obviously, it's a lot more in-depth when you do it one-to-one with people, and it's about teaching them basically how to find themselves. So we give them a lot of counselling through the first few weeks or through all the sessions and that, but eventually it puts them in a position where they can keep digging for them themselves. And as you and I know, that's a lifelong practice. Woohoo! But at least we give people the tools that they can carry on to do that themselves. And before I started any of this, I actually learned energy healing, which came about because my lovely, colourful and personality ex-battery hens, well, they one of them got sick, the other started bullying her, and we had a real issue about that. And I googled, so it's not that long ago because we did actually have Google. I googled solutions and I came up with this lady who had posted this little video about her hens, and because it's a well-known problem, and with a small flock it can be a real issue if you don't have room to separate them, and the solution seemed to be separate them forever. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that, but I couldn't find a way to reconcile it. So I was either punishing one by keeping them apart or punishing the other by keeping her apart, and it just broke my heart. Energy healing, amazing, sort it all out. So that's what sort of started me, not on this journey specifically because I had already started digging around the spiritual path, but certainly in terms of healing. So I do energy healing for that. So I did the emotion code, and I am a certified practitioner in the emotion code. And then I moved on to the body code, which is like a superset of that. I haven't qualified in that because, to be honest, I don't feel I need to. Yeah, once you start healing and doing stuff, you learn so much more through experience that the need to be certified doesn't seem that important. So I do that, and that has of course led to me learning through various other techniques of various other people, and as people I practice with, and we learn stuff. Yeah. So mostly animals and humans, and I guess the good thing about the animal communication, as you know, is it ties the human and the animal together. So quite often it's quite a powerful thing to have that healing element straddle across between animals and humans, because we're all working towards this. Well, we're working towards something, and our animals are helping us do that through their behavior, as we both know.
Yeah.
That's me in a nutshell.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I wanted to, so the energy healing, is it Reiki as well as emotion code and body code, or is it like what all energy healing do you do?
What is energy healing?
Yeah,
I am
all of it.
Hey.
What is, you're right. What is it? And what all do you do?
So the emotion code and the Big Brother body code is about identifying trapped energy in the body. So if something happens, we experience emotions all the time. If the idea is the emotion makes itself known to you so that you can understand what's going on. In Hicks terms, it would be, oh, don't like that. Let's move away from that and move towards this. This feels nice over here. I'm going to go over here. That's a really basic form of emotions, but quite often humans don't process it. So you should feel the emotion, acknowledge the emotion, process the emotion, and then the emotion leaves and you've learned your lesson. You know, you've understood this is making me feel bad. This is not a good thing. I need to move over here or think about something different. And we don't, because sometimes because it's really traumatic, but more often or not, just because we don't honor our emotions, so they get stuck. They get interrupted. So it could be something relatively trivial, but if you don't process that emotion, it doesn't go anywhere. So it's literally stuck. See how cold I am? My hands are all white. It literally gets stuck in your body. And at the root of all disease, as we talked about last week, is dis-ease. And that's actually the root of all illness, disease, anything like that, is imbalance in the body. So emotion code identifies them. And by identifying them, you can then literally just ask them to leave, essentially. You don't have to experience it. I mean, people do. Some people notice a lifting or notice it moving or whatever. But rather than digging into the details as we do in soul level intuitive coaching, because they're obviously more complex, this is actually almost a passive way of just getting rid of underlying energy. And the body code is much the same, except it's not just emotions. It recognizes more complex emotions, beliefs, things, other things. There's all these names around them, but it's really about how much more complex they are. Reiki, on the other hand, I am actually I don't know if certified is the right word for Reiki. I am actually trained in angelic Reiki, and I use it. I do use it actually, but I don't really advertise that in my services because it tends to be something I do last thing at night. So I wouldn't say that it's half-hearted, but it's probably inconsistent because I do it as I fall asleep. But I have a rota of animals that I look at every night, usually involving some sheep in a field there, almost always little Tinkerbell, who's the sheep that has epilepsy in that field, because she's very special to me, although she probably doesn't even know it, or she does it at a soul level. And then there's my animals, and then there's usually, especially now Stella started pet sitting, but it would be my sister's animals or something like that, or I've just got a couple of friends with animals that are struggling at the moment, and I just sort of keep them on this rota. And I actually now do, I think it's what's known as let the animals lead. I'm paraphrasing, I don't really know what it is, but my understanding of it is this idea that the animals come to you for the Reiki rather than you pushing it on them. I sort of take exception to this idea that somehow forcing healing on an animal is bad. There is this another of these, I think, political human arguments about that, because frankly I think the animal doesn't want healing, whatever, doesn't matter, it's passive. I don't believe you can do any harm, and I actually don't believe you need permission per se. I can understand you don't want to interfere in other people's lives and stuff like that, but between you and an animal, I see no harm. It's no different from you and I feeling love towards somebody who may, you don't ask people's permission. Is it all right if I feel compassion for you? Is it all right if I feel fondness? That's my view. Yeah. Probably controversially.
Well, that being said, it's very possible that in a soul level animal communication session, the animal will actually ask for specific types of healing. You've had that? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I do a combination sessions now where for animals, I did it for problem pets, but more recently, and that's something I'm introducing in honor of this honor, in celebration of this honor, is the Chloe Care package. So I had been using it because most people, as you know, soul level animal communication, quite often a person's initial purpose or reason for wanting to speak to the animal is because Toby's doing XYZ and I don't like it, and how do I change that, and how do I get through to him, and can you tell him not to do XYZ? And the whole point of the soul level animal communication is about, well, he's doing that, he's pushing your buttons because he's trying to teach you something. So I sort of did that about, because obviously there are then, you know, humans will then have usually some sort of lesson to learn. And then it's like, well, how do I do that? You know, a lot of people who are aware enough to want to try also get stuck. We all do. We go, well, that's all very well, and I understand that intellectually, but how do I do that? And at that point, energy healing can help with the human to, you know, to sort of help release some of whatever the blockages are as to why they're not learning their lesson. And also you can then, I've also used it on the animal as well, then to sort of soothe any physical reasons to sort of help the healing. So there is this idea that, yes, they're teaching us a lesson, but it's almost like a two-sided approach to say, but it's also bonding. It's a really bonding experience for the owner to be part of my healing of their animal, you know, because then they understand what's going on. It just makes it a much rounder, more fulfilling, and that feeling of compassion. And I think it helps both of them along the way, the animal with any physical symptoms they may have, which may be exacerbating the problem, whatever. And also, as you and I know, when you get in a soul level animal communication session, there are some things that might clear up immediately, but there are some bigger problems that's going to take a lot longer. But it's anything just to help ease that out. But it seems to be this magical marrying, shall we say, of the emotional side of it as well as the physical side. So I seem to be talking a lot, but
that's the point.
That's
the point. So I just have to say that, you know, you've read My Dog Lucas several times, which has every single time been super helpful, as well as, you know, earlier this year, I had a sty on one eye and then I had a sty on the other eye, and they were completely different. They were the same types of styes, but they were very different for me, and they were troubling because they were hanging on for a long, long time. So you did body code on those, which was also tremendously helpful. And you did them more than once on each eye, because it was like peeling back the layers of an onion. And every time you did a session, like what you got resonated, and then it went down, but it wouldn't go away completely. So then you did another session and more stuff came up. It was absolutely fascinating. So I just think you're amazing. And I'm so excited that you've got this special honor the whole month, because not only is it well earned and absolutely well deserved, but also because it'll help so many other people experience.
Well, thank you.
This
Yeah.
type of work.
It's interesting because I think it's something you and I are finding, because we work together, that the stuff that comes up in such a way that we both learn a little bit, and it tends to be, you know, because normally if somebody had a sty, you know, if it was my sister or something like that, I wouldn't necessarily engage with her over it. I'll say, right, I'd have a look at that, and I'll do it, and then I'll just text her out and say it's done. But I think it's quite interesting that when stuff comes up between us, it's almost like a bigger lesson. Like, okay, yes, it's just a sty, but it actually turned into almost a soul level intuitive coaching session around that. So it's not just the releasing of the energy, and I think that's a really interesting thing. And that's another thing that Napoleon Hill, there's somebody else that talks about it as well, but much more recently. Was it in the book? I think it was in The Field, Julie and I read in The Field, about how one person is really powerful, but when one or more people come together in mind at that. And I think that's us. Hey, do you know what I mean? It's like we are greater than the sum of two parts, because when we're together, there's this alchemy of other stuff that comes up. So whilst I guess what I'm saying is, normally when I heal somebody's sty, it doesn't fall into a big soul level intuitive coaching session. It does with us, because it's always it's like the guides, and we'll use these opportunities to help us grow and learn about each other and stuff like that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Yeah.
Big, isn't it?
Yeah. So I just want to clarify with everybody too, that with soul level animal communication, you're working with the animal to find out how they're coming alongside the human to help that human grow. In soul level intuitive coaching, you're actually working with spirit guides, right? To understand from the spirit guides where the human may or what negative beliefs they're working on, what workarounds they've put in place, the influencing factors that took place. And you can look at the energy, and Kate can explain that even more too. But so that's like when we do our episodes, we're usually calling on our guides to help us understand what's happening so that we can get, I would say, like there's a grounding aspect of it, but that we're then hearing from source, which absolutely loves us unconditionally all the time, just like our animals do, which is why animals are so important. So, and I'm sure you found too that many times what an animal's helping a human on, you can even use soul level intuitive coaching to kind of go a little bit deeper, which we've done together.
Yeah,
but I'm sure you've
and you've actually got a package about that at the moment, haven't you?
Yeah, I do.
I haven't delved that far yet because I started this other package, but I can see how that, it is really interesting because I don't know how you felt, but it took me a while to see how to marry different stuff together. You're sort of going, well, if I do, here's soul level intuitive, soul level animal communication, and we can help you not fix your problems with the animal, but we can help you overcome these problems. Oh, and by the way, I can also do it this way. And it's almost like, well, is this thing undermining the other thing? Now we know that that's actually not the case, but it's taken me a while with the healing. It's like, well, if you can heal these problems with the animal communication, why do you need the other stuff then, and vice versa? And actually, someone else we should get on to talk about, I wonder this about, because I had these questions when we started doing, I don't know if you were with me, business class, probably watching me getting more and more resistant about things, and I was really resistant about the soul level bit, like I believe all this, but I don't know how to, in the way I viewed it then, which shows how far back it was. It felt like I was foisting the soul lesson onto people, and that bit I was embarrassed about. Like I believed it, but my inherent shame and unworthiness as well, it's not my job to tell you how to live your life, and I got really worked up about that. It's like I want to be able to communicate and I want to be able to pass on these messages, but I'm not comfortable telling you what you're doing wrong in your life, your animal, that sort of side of it. I've lost my thread completely.
Was it about marrying the two, or how they all kind of work together to support you?
That's exactly it. So I struggled with that side of it anyway. Now I'm comfortable with that, but then I'm sort of like, well, if I'm not fixing it, but if we're addressing this through soul level animal communication, what do I need the energy healing for? And I know what it's coming to is, again, the guest. One of the other questions I had at that time was, well, we watch animal behaviorists. There's one guy I watch on TV, not very often, but when I do, and it's called Dogs Behaving Very Badly. It's all dramatic, but he's amazing. It's like, I must admit, I used to have this idea of like, oh, for God's sake, if you don't know how to sort your animal out, what sort of animal owner are you? And then you watch these things and you're like, they're doing everything right. There's nothing, they're not idiots. Like I'm thinking they're some sort of washed up idiot that doesn't deserve to have an animal. And then you watch it and it's like, okay, I see you, you appear to all humans to be doing the right thing, and I know this is something you're probably familiar with, Julie. I'm doing all the right stuff, and I don't know what's happening here. And I think, well, if you can, I don't want to say fix the issue, if you can address this issue through an animal behaviorist, what do you need the animal communication for? Or to take that step further, how come that works? Mm-hmm. And the thing I've got to, and I have to eliminate this phrase from my vocabulary, and that's what how many ways to something a cat. Let's not go there. There's lots of ways to peel an orange, shall we say. Let's peel an onion, shall we say. I'm not sure what there are, but there are lots of different ways to do something. And I think even now, what's interesting is now when I watch these behaviorist programs, there is a change that happens in the human. Now, they may not be, oh, here's your soul lesson, but there's nearly always an element of stepping up in some way, showing leadership, being more confident in yourself. And that's got to have, I'd love to see them go back in a year's time and say, now think about what else in your life changed since you started this behavior. It's like we should do that. We should contact all these programs and go, have you thought about revisiting?
No. We should do that. We should do that. Yeah.
Go back to
our clients And talk to us about how your life
Yeah.
has changed with your animal, whether your animal's alive or in spirit, right? Because you can talk
Yeah.
to animals in spirit too. I want to make that clear real quick.
Yes, yes. Yes, but I think even in these programs that don't focus on the lesson, there is a lesson, and they are, and that, because that's, I was thinking, well, how can that work if there's an underlying lesson that's not being addressed because you're just focusing on the behavior of the animal?
Yeah.
But actually there probably is, because the human does go through changes, albeit through a different process of somebody teaching them how to behave or how to take leadership or how to treat their animal. There will be some change within them. I think it's fascinating, but I'd really like to, we've got a couple of friends actually that do animal behaviorists. We should get them to talk about how they marry those two things. It's like, if this works, why do you need this? I think there's room for everything.
I agree. And today there's just room for you. No.
You're good at this, Julie. Have you done this before?
All right, so I just want to make sure that everybody's aware, as your featured practitioner for Danielle McKinnon this entire month of October 2022, you do have a special offer in place. So I do want to make sure that you have a chance to say that to everybody.
I do. So for 20% off any of my individual sessions, you can just use the code Danielle. Just the name Danielle will get you 20% off all of my individual sessions. I also have a new package, which is the Chloe Care package. So this was me taking the problem pat, and I was working not as a package, just a soul level animal communication and the lady of books and energy healing as well for her, I think originally, and the cat. Anyway, it turned out we sort of mooshed the whole thing together. And she's an older cat, and the owner was afraid she was transitioning and really couldn't face it, having just lost another cat. But it was just amazing. And I named the package after the cat Chloe, because Chloe opened my eyes to the fact that this is not just about fixing problems with pets, that the quality of life that she exhibited and the joy that she had, and how I was able to tell her owner about what she needed and what she didn't need, and bringing that comfort, but also just, I was astonished at the changes in her after the energy healing. So it's called the Chloe Care package, which is an animal communication session and 2 energy healing, which can be for you or your pet or whatever. Really, my time is my time is my time. I'm quite happy to do whatever is required in that time. But so that's in honor of Chloe, the cat, beautiful, beautiful cat. She's on my website and she's just absolutely gorgeous. And much thanks to her owner for allowing me to promote it, and also for just letting me meet Chloe to bring this element into my healing. So with Danielle Dash package, you can also get 10% off all my packages.
That's awesome, Kate. Cool.
I learned from the best, Julie, because we remember that you were featured practitioner in June.
All about you right now, Kate.
I'm not comfortable with that.
No, I know, but this is why the animals are helping you do that too. So anyways, I just wanted to thank you everybody for being here with us today. I really wanted to give Kate a huge shout out, because being featured practitioner for Danielle McKinnon is a huge honor. And it's something that she's worked really hard to achieve and get to this level. And so while we both prefer to hide and not share a lot of stuff, which is also why we do the YouTube show, because it's helping us share. We love everybody's great feedback, but it was an effort also to shout it from the rooftops, because Kate's achieved something really, really wonderful. And we wanted to celebrate. I personally really wanted to celebrate it too. So thank you so much for joining us for this very special edition of Making Like Two Humans Being. Check out Kate's website, Instagram, Facebook, other YouTube. You can find all the information below. Understand that she's got packages, or she's got discounts on packages and sessions all this month in honor of this wonderful title that she's achieved. If you have any comments or questions on Making Like Two Humans Being, have any topic ideas to share, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. As Kate said earlier, please subscribe to this channel. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers, or reach that number by the end of this year. And so you pressing that button makes a huge difference and allows other people to find us too. So once again, congratulations, Kate. Enjoy the entire month and beyond. And we'll see you next time here on Making Like Two Humans Being. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.